Welcome back to the cottage, everyone. I hope you're having a great day so far. I am in the middle of a ton of spring cleaning, which I'll be sharing with you soon here on the channel. But today I thought it might be fun to do a little sit down talk about some things that we as a minimalist family do not do. If you're not familiar with our family dynamics, my husband and I have been married for 19 years and we have 5 children ranging in age from 14 to 7. And I watch other minimalist channels and I'm always kind of curious how it works with different families. And so today I thought I would share with you what we as our minimalist family unit of 7 do not do. Before I get into the list, I just want to make clear that our entire family is on board with this lifestyle. We all are comfortable with it. Nobody feels deprived or without. It's been the culture of our family since we started our family. And so our kids don't feel like, their friends have something that they don't have or they do something that we don't do. It's natural for us, it's comfortable for us, and it's the way that we live our lives. Number 1, we don't feel the need to be surrounded by things. Now this one is pretty obvious and probably what you expected when you clicked on this video, but I wanted to be sure to mention it because it is really the framework and the foundation for how we live our lives. We buy the things that we need and what we want and enjoy, but we don't worry about the rest. And that might mean that our house seems a little blank or bare or stark to others that are not living this lifestyle. But we are completely comfortable living in a home that has bare walls and corners without furniture. We feel that without the extra clutter and visual noise, our house actually gives us the mental breathing room that we need to relax and unwind at the end of a busy day. Number 2, we don't add extra activities just to fill in time. In the same way that we don't fill our home with things, we try really hard not to fill our time up either. We could be involved every single night of the week with kids' sports and volunteer activities and just various things that people can be involved in. However, we prefer to allow plenty of non-scheduled downtime to just spend together as a family recharging. And so many of our precious memories have been made this way, with something as simple as reading a book together, going on a family walk, or playing a game of ping pong. Our kids have taken this downtime to explore some of their own interests, such as building a backyard roller coaster. And yes, they did do that. Okay, go ahead. Number 3, we don't rely on instant gratification. We are fine going through a bit of discomfort if we know it's going to lead us to the greater good. An example I have of that is before we built this house that we live in now, we actually owned the property that it's built upon for about 10 years. However, we weren't in the financial position to build quite yet, and so we rented a very old, very drafty, somewhat mouse-infested farmhouse for 5 years. And those were challenging times for sure, but we're grateful that we went through that process because it makes us enjoy what we have now even more. Number 4, we don't carry debt. Now, eventually I will make a video that explains our entire debt-free journey, but for this video, I just want to mention that besides our home, which we do currently have a mortgage on, but plan to pay down rapidly, we no longer have debt, and we love living that lifestyle. Very simply put, if we want to purchase something, we just make sure we have the money to do so. Number 5, we do not buy new vehicles. And this one goes right in line with number 4. We have not had a car payment in well over 12 years. We prefer to buy used vehicles at a very discounted price, and then we drive them and use them until they are basically obsolete. If you know our family in real life, you will know that we, for many years, up until about 2019, owned a 2002 Chrysler minivan that we lovingly called Old Blue. And Old Blue had plenty of rust. It had about 160,000 miles on it, which is actually pretty low for the age of the van. And it had a window that was being held up with an eraser because the window kept wanting to fall down. And I will admit that this was sometimes embarrassing to drive around, but it did get us from point A to point B, and it saved us a ton of money over the years. And when we traded that vehicle in, which surprisingly we were able to even get $500 when we traded it in, We bought a new to us 2010 Chrysler Town & Country, and this was in 2019. We bought it, so it was already 9 years old. Only had 70,000 miles on it. We, in those couple of years, we've only put about 8,000 miles on it, so it still has plenty of life left in it, and we are excited to continue not having a car payment. Number 6, we don't make impulse purchases. Now, of course, if I bring one of my kids to the grocery store, they might see a bag of chips or some other snack that they want that might get thrown into the cart, something that wasn't on my list. But generally, as a rule for our family, if it's more than $10, my husband and I will talk it through. And this might seem a little bit extreme, but honestly, we don't buy things. We just don't really buy things unless we need them. And so generally, we don't need to even have these discussions. Just as an aside, neither of my husband and I even like shopping. And so I am not one that would go into Target just to wander around and see what they have. We don't like shopping. We don't like going into stores at all. And that greatly curbs our impulse buys. So it works for us. Number 7, we don't keep extras. I know there are plenty of people who enjoy having a pantry full of food or extra toiletries and extra cleaning supplies, and that they have these things on hand in case something were to run out. But we are of the mindset that we live in a big enough city. If something runs out that we need, we can have it replaced in a matter of minutes. And this philosophy has actually served us very well over the years, with the exception of the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. And that was touch and go for a while. We do now keep a little bit extra toilet paper on hand, but still not very much. Number 8, we don't hire out things that we can do ourselves. We consider ourselves to be fairly handy, although not masters of the things that we tackle. And we're motivated mainly by the amount of money that we'll save, and also by not having to schedule something extra. And so when it comes to large DIY projects, if it's something my husband thinks that he can tackle and he doesn't have to hire somebody to do it for him, he'll generally take it on. Case in point, our vanity in our master bathroom in a recent video that I shared. He wasn't sure how it would go, but he tackled it and it turned out beautifully, and we're very happy with how it looks, and we saved a ton of money doing it ourselves. And it goes all the way from home improvement projects in a larger scale down to the smaller items such as cutting our own hair. Our kids none of them have ever been to a hair salon. We've always cut their own hair. I've cut my husband's hair since the day we were married, and I actually cut my own hair by just kind of bringing it off the side and trimming it. Now, as I get older, and I want more of a stylish, cut in my older years with my gray hair, I will probably have to find somebody that I can trust to take care of my hair, but for now, it's working out great. Number 9, we don't own subscriptions. No gym membership, no Netflix, no meal planning services, no Amazon Prime, and yes, you heard me right, we do not have Amazon Prime. Though we have tried some of these subscriptions in the past, we just found ourselves feeling guilty for not using them as often as we felt that we should for the money that we were paying for them. And so now we look instead for free alternatives, and we've been really surprised by what we've found. Regarding the TV services, we used to have Netflix. We got rid of it because we just weren't watching enough TV. And we found that our TV, which is a Roku Smart TV, has some free channels with a little bit of commercial time. And also, of course, YouTube. There's plenty of things to watch on YouTube. So there are those free alternatives out there if you just look for them. And we're happy not paying for things that we're not using. And rounding out the list at number 10, we don't go on grand vacations. The thought of planning a trip to Disney with 5 kids completely stresses us out. There's all of the various coordination aspects, the airfare, the hotels, where you're going to eat. It's just too much to take on. And we actually are all homebodies anyway. We prefer the comfort of our home. And so we instead look for alternatives within our own community. There are lakes within walking distance of our home that we can visit at any time. There's plenty of golf if we want to take that on. There's an amusement park in our city. There are plenty of things to do. We just don't go and plan these gigantic vacations that cost a lot of money, take a lot of time, and are honestly, to us, very, very stressful. Well, there you have it, the top 10 things that our minimalist family does not do. If anything surprised you or concerned you, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments below. Go ahead and leave me a comment and we can have a discussion. I hope that this video gave you a bit of insight into how our large family lives a simplified lifestyle. Again, we are very comfortable with all of these decisions that have been made and how we run our lives. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and I hope you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.